This is Marketing of Today. I'm Ceci. Let's go.
Yo, what's up, everybody?
How are you? How's it going? How's your day going?
Good. Thank you. And what are we doing here? Why am I sitting on this side?
He is in the hot seat today. He is being interviewed by me, and we're just going to have a lovely conversation today.
Yes, everybody. So it was, episode 10, we did an interview with me and DJ. Episode 20, Ceci is going to interview me, and then we're going to switch it out. So let's see what she got for me today.
Let's see. I have a few questions for you.
Yeah.
So the first one, I went through your interviews and your, all your questionnaires, but some people might not hear it. So let's hear it again. How did you start and why?
How do I start the whole business?
Yes.
Okay. So back when I was 25, 24 years old, I was trying businesses. I was a DR at that time, but I was trying businesses in and out, and they were failing. All of them were failing. And I was very passionate about Casey Neistat and Gary Vee. So those were my two dudes. So I wanted to become a speaker and I wanted to become a YouTuber. So with no talent whatsoever, and I don't recommend any of you guys to go into my YouTube channel and look at my old videos because they suck. But with no talent whatsoever, I started making videos about my life and what I was doing and what I was going through. It helped me a lot because it really literally started this and created that hunger to become a videographer and, to build that brand. So little by little, I started doing that. And then one day, one of the guys that I still work with saw me on Instagram and said, I need your services. I'd never done this as a business. I was doing it for fun. And from there, he told me, come visit me. We filmed our first video. And a week later, I was doing this full time.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
I was doing this full time and then he got me my first couple of clients and then I started meeting people.
Wow.
Met JT. JT did the other bungee jump for me. I met another group of people and here we are.
Wow. That's amazing. So you were born and raised
3 years ago, by the way.
Look at that. 1 year can change your life.
1 year changed my life.
That's good.
And it was during the pandemic too. So it was the beginning.
Look at that. So the pandemic actually turned out pretty well for you.
Oh, yeah.
For a lot of people, actually. But that's amazing that, you were able to overcome that, which it was tough for a lot of people as well.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
That was cool. So I know you mentioned you're from DR. You were born and raised over there, correct?
So I was born and raised in DR. Spent the better part of my first 11 years there. Then my parents got a work visa and we moved to Florida for 8 years.
Okay.
Graduated middle school and high school and then went back. And then I was like, I gotta go. And then I came back by myself that time.
Okay.
So yeah, split my life really like half and half.
Wow. I mean, that's how pretty goes sometimes. But so how is it like, is your family still out there in DR? How is it?
Yeah, my mom my mom and dad still live there. Actually, my mom's coming next month. She comes every 2 months.
Okay.
Because they have a business and it requires for her to travel and purchase merchandise here and export it to DR. So she constantly comes and travels. So I get to see my mom a lot. The person I don't get to see a lot is my dad. Your dad. Because he doesn't fly. He doesn't like it too much, and he doesn't want to come, so my mom comes by herself. It's either her or my brothers. Usually that's who I see. But they're still there. My brother wants to come. My mom wants to come. So at some point, I think they're going to make the decision. It's going to happen.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. At least you get to see your mom as well.
By the way, this feels so weird. Being interviewed feels so weird.
I know, right? I can imagine. Another question I had for you. I know as an entrepreneur, you're also very busy. But you also married, so I wanted to see, I wanted to know for the audience and everyone, how do you balance yourself? Because that is a tough one. But I mean, at some point you have to balance. How do you balance yourself?
It's literally saying, I'm not going to work today. I'm just going to stay home. And there's no
and not
balance.
even that.
And not even that, because I'm either on the phone or checking my emails or paying some bills. So I'm always working. It's always working. And you know what? The secret for me is interesting that I never talked about my wife. So here we go. The secret for me was that I told her from the beginning. I was like, listen, I don't know when, I don't know how.
Okay.
But at some point, you're not going to see me for like 2 weeks straight. Saying you got to be okay with that. And you got to be okay with me traveling, with me not being home till 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning because this is what I'm working
Right.
for. She didn't believe it. She could honestly, she will tell you she did
She
not
would watch
believe it.
us and she would know, and she would.
She did
definitely
not
give
believe
her-
that was going to happen, but it happened. And then now she says, she said it like about 6 months ago. She's like, I didn't believe that you were going to make it this far. I always thought that it was just dreams. But then when she saw the reality, she's like, wow. So I tell her, and this is just the beginning.
That's amazing.
This
That's
is-
amazing because at the end of the day, you're probably pushing her as well. As a couple, you want to continue to grow.
Yeah. And now that I have a son, it's like I run a little faster, and I make sure that everything's okay because I did tell her, stay home, take care of him, but also do your business from home. So whatever you
Right.
need, let's set you up. So, like, by the way, I'm starting in something for the event coming soon. The announcement will come soon. So
Interesting.
So that's her business, right? That I'm
Okay.
setting up, and I'm already here in the events. I'm already being contacted for them. I know this is something that they need, so it's just adding it, adding
That's
a service.
amazing. So
You always think of
would
ideas
say
like that.
you would say it's communication if you think about it.
Well, at the beginning it was, but now we don't have any. Because, for example, we have a mutual friend, but I don't probably get 3 to 4 calls a day.
Okay.
And I could be here all day, and I'll probably get 3 to 4 calls. And if she texts me and I don't answer, she understands that I'm busy, because it's already been enough for her to understand that. But
yeah.
at the beginning, it was a little rough because it was like, why don't you answer? People are used to relationships where the other person just has a 9 to 5, goes to work, tries to slack as much as possible during work. Right? You know that.
Oh, I know.
So you try to slack as much as possible.
Right.
And then you get home at 6 o'clock, have dinner, go to sleep at 10.
Yeah.
My life
It's
is
not
not
the
like
same.
that.
It's really not the
My
same.
life is literally, I'm busy right now. I don't know what time I make home. I haven't ate anything. You saw yesterday, remember? It was like
Yeah.
5 o'clock. She was here filming with somebody else. It was like 5 o'clock and I hadn't ate anything. I haven't even had breakfast. So today I had breakfast, but I haven't ate lunch. Right?
Oh my God.
Well,
need to
you
eat.
here and I didn't even notice the time.
I'll be the
I-
first one to eat. I'm like, excuse me, the meeting is starting, but what are we eating?
See, in my case, I'm like, wait, hold on. We got to finish the meeting and then we'll go eat.
I'm like, no, I need food first.
But see, and that's what when you were asking about balance, that's what I'm chasing.
Right.
I'm chasing that balance where I could be like, my day's planned so perfect and it's so important. I'm not going to be, I'm going to treat a customer to their work, right? Because
Their
that's another
needs.
thing. Customers, they call you, they text you, and they need their work. Like, I need to work. In order for me to get paid, I need to work.
Yes.
So that's the hardest part to balance. It's like, how can I satisfy the customer, satisfy myself, and satisfy my private life?
Right. How do you see yourself in a few years, like actually having some type of balance? Because at the end of the day, if you're not good, then, what's the point of being in business?
Yeah, well, my goal is 5 years, right?
Okay.
5 years, I know I'm not going to have the full balance, but at least be able to have a team that can take care of part of my business where at 6 o'clock I can clock out and go home.
All right.
My son is going to be probably 2 years by then. So that'll be a good time for me to be home at 6, help him with the homework, put him to sleep, do all those things. I try to be home in the morning, at least when he wakes up, and try to be home before he sleeps. Doesn't happen all the time, but at least he wakes up around 10 for the dinner. So I grab him for a quick couple of minutes. He sees me, we're good.
You're good.
But it's my goal in 5 years to 10 is buy another company
Okay.
with a team already established, set them up. Now we have, let's say, a crew of 20, 30, 40 people working under me. And like I was explaining to you before we started the podcast, have like different ramas, different groups for all the services that we're going to provide. Exactly. So, and just oversee everything and then create content like a crazy maniac and have a team that can handle all the work that I'm going to give them just for myself.
Awesome. And
Have the finances to finance that too, which is the most important part, if you understand what I mean.
Definitely. And do you still enjoy what you're doing
Oh,
with your
yeah.
day-to-day basis? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, just wanted to make sure for the followers that's also watching to make sure.
Remember, when you're a creative, right? Either visual, audio, whatever, which I like being both of them, right? When you're a creative to the level that I'm creating content and audio content, because every time you put music to something, every time you do the sound effects, every time you do all that, you're also in an audio form.
Right.
So when you're creative, you have to love what you do, because at some point you burn out. And I feel like the only reason I burn out a lot on it, like the only thing that stops me from creating more content is having to deal with the administration of the business. So as soon as I can get that to somebody else, I'm going to be good, because I love creating videos and I feel like I'm good at it. You know, people see, and let me take this advantage to plug this in. You know, you're seeing that I'm posting a lot of content in social media. Like, but the reason you're seeing that is because I have a team behind me that makes sure and posts all the videos. And on top of that, it's easy for me to sit down here and talk about any conversation. Let's give them an example. Give me something that you want me to talk about.
Mental health.
Right. So the most important thing when you're, building your business, trying to become successful, take this clip, by the way. The most important thing when you're trying to build this business, try and become successful and become an entrepreneur, is your mental health, right? At some points you need to clock out. At some point you need to stop, go to the gym, take a bath, get a massage, go to the wilderness, reset your mind, because if not, it's going to drive you crazy.
That is correct.
So you saw the content that I just made. That was 15, 30 seconds. It's out the way. Imagine if I could do that 10, 20 times in one sitting. 30 minutes of that, send it to the editor, edits all that, sends it to the posting team or the marketing team, and they just post it. My job was done. So that's my trial to try to automate the entire business.
And I asked you if you had a process. Do you have a process?
It's just not perfected. Yeah, exactly.
It's all in your head, but you can put that on paper, and honestly, I see it skyrocketing.
To any customer, actually anybody, let's give them a little value out of this. That's what it is, right?
Right.
If you know what you're doing in a business, I know you like sport, you like working out, right?
Yeah.
So you know how to work out. It's not hard for you to have a conversation with the audience about workouts. Mm-hmm. So if you know about real estate, right? Because that's where we know each other from. If you know about real estate, it's easy for you to have a conversation with somebody in a network event. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing on camera. The only problem starts when you see people who can't be on camera about certain contents. It's because they're either lying, they're not really lack of information. They're not really at that level that they want to say they're at. So it's hard for them to identify with the subjects because they don't have those interactions every day.
That makes a lot of sense.
So every day, I speak to business owners every day. Mm-hmm. I listen to things I struggle with every day. Every day I listen to type of content that the other people are making that are working is not working. So it's easy for me to have a conversation about that because that's what I know.
That makes a lot of sense.
If you did, so if you're looking for a marketing company, video company, or any of those people, and you're trying to ask them, what should we do? And they can give you a straight up answer.
We already know the answer to it.
I give a lot of, so, okay, I'm going to use this moment to trash something. A lot of people contact me just to get advice. Mm-hmm. Right? And lately that's been clicking me off a little bit because it's like, you're seeing the value because you're calling, but you're not seeing the value to actually hire me. So now now I don't take calls, and I don't want to offend anybody out there, but it's not, it's because it's like, if we're going to work together, we need to work together. And my time is valuable too.
Right. And it all comes down to intentions. What are people's intentions? Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, it's like, hey, it has to be, we are in a world, it got to be a win-win situation for each human being because you got to bring value, I got to bring value, or we wouldn't be sitting here.
I'm investing crazy time. So
time is money.
Right? When you came here, what do you saw me doing? By the way, I forgot that we had this thing at this time. What do you saw me doing?
He was actually working.
I was working. I was in 2 computers at the same time trying to get work done. So that means that I'm learning at 2, 3, 4 times the level, and the knowledge is here. That's the value of the transaction we're getting. So if you see the knowledge and you see that I can build your business and help you 3x, 4x your business, and that's why you're asking me questions, then why don't you just hire and put the money where your mouth is? Just saying. Okay, I think I went too much there, but I have had a couple experiences in the past 3 weeks that have really hit me hard, because it's like one guy came in here, did something, another guy came, and then it's like, yo, you know, it's like you're seeing the value because you're using the content. You wanted to be part of the platform. You wanted to use it, but then now when it turns to
what happens now? It's
like, and you're getting money out of it, because that's the other thing, right? I put my money where my mouth is. Whenever I try to work with somebody, I tell them, listen, this is going to work, and this is going to triple X your business because of this situation. Like, this is how it works. Some people believe it. Some people don't. The guys that don't believe it, go try it out with someone cheaper. Doesn't work. Then they say, oh, you were bullshitting. But no, it's because you're not doing the proper steps. Right. There's a math to this.
He also has the process. It's all in his head, but...
Exactly. It's not written down. It's right here.
I'll help him with that part.
Exactly.
So another question that I'm curious to know, because everyone has a different definition for it, but I honestly do want to know, what is your definition of success?
Okay. 1 second, people. You know, it got really hot here. So the problem is all this lighting. There's a lot of lighting in here to be able to get this video. It's nice. Hot. So... okay, my definition of success changes within the week, right? Because the more I build what I want to build, the more ideas come to this brain. So, like, for example, I told you about the event thing, right? That we alluded to a little earlier. That alone is going to create now more tasks for me to achieve in order for it to work, right? I also just started live streaming events, so that took a whole thing on my mind where it's like, how do I do this? So I'm always looking for the next step. So once I do something, it's easy for me to set up this podcast and boom, let's go, record, bam, let's go. A client comes in, wants to film a podcast. It's easy for me to set it up. Now I look for the next hardest thing. Right. So my definition of success will be the day I can have a team that can take all my crazy ideas and just execute.
Your word.
Exactly. Where I work 6 hours straight from 12 to 6 o'clock. Everything gets done within that time. All the processes are on point and the business still works. Everybody's taking some money home. Everybody feels good. And the business is one of the top Northern Jersey, if not Northern United States businesses for events, podcast services, video production, and marketing services.
He is going to do it all, guys. He's really going to do it all.
This started like, in all honesty, this started beginning of last year when I hired my first people to work with me. They were working actually here in this office. It was expensive, but they were working under me, and I saw automatically when I took some of the work that I was handling off, I saw a gap. So that made me understand. And the second episode of the podcast is team and he's hiring. And that person also brought into my mind, like, okay, so if it's team and hiring, then that means if I can hire someone to take care of this, then now I'm free for this. But then you figure out that you can actually be free for this. And now it's like, okay, so now I see how big companies work. And those companies is hiring, firing,
and
then putting layers over you. So like, if the problem, like we were having a conversation, one of the business owners that I work with is like, by the time the problem gets to him, is a big problem. It's like, we're losing this client. Yeah, let's go. So I want to create a company to that level where by the time the problem gets to me, it's like, because we're losing the client and I need to be the one going with my camera and filming. Hey, what's up? How you doing? Yeah, let's get this done. I'll take care of you for the next 6 months, make sure everything's in order, retrain my team so they can assist you properly. That's the level of business I want to have.
That's amazing. That is amazing. If
I don't go crazy, lose my mind, or God knows what happens before that.
Hopefully not. That's not what we want for you also.
It feels good to be on this side now. I can feel.
How does it feel?
I feel the flow.
Because I feel like.
You feel like you have your own podcast?
I'm empowered right now. Yes.
Yeah, nice.
Okay, so I have another question for you. What are your main core values for your business that's just going to break or make a situation That's how you make decisions. What are your like core values for your business?
If you're with me, you have to be with me 100%.
Okay.
If we're gonna go through this wall, and you know that it's gonna hurt, you don't care. You have to go through that wall, and I think that's the reason why it's hard for me to find people to work with me, because even with my clients, I'm like that. So, for example, if you're my client and you're complaining about something, I'm gonna go not out of my way. I'm always gonna go 1,000% over to make sure that you're satisfied. So if you're mad about something, I'm gonna fix it, and even if it takes me 2, 3, 4 months. I had a situation. I can actually have the guy. He's actually gonna come on at some point, but I had a situation with the guy. He was upset. I bought his tickets to his event. I told him, I'll give you the best support. I actually gave this ticket away to somebody so they can go, but I wish you the best. Dude calls me. That's my message, right? He calls me like a week later. He says, thank you for your support. Sorry about everything that happened. Everything's good now. And I'm like, no, we were good from the beginning. It was just a misunderstanding. Things happened. And I apologize for not being able to problem solve. But if I had that person, because this is my way that I think, right? If I have this person thinking bad about me and then you go ask him a question about me, what's going to happen? So now that person goes to another person, to another person, to another person. So my job is to make sure you're satisfied. Or if you're not satisfied, at least you're like, at the end, he came through. We had a situation, but he came through. So it leaves that 50-50 chance, and it doesn't ruin what I've been working for, because I honestly work 18-hour days. I sleep 3 hours, 4 hours a night, right?
We need to change that, by the way.
I mean, Elon Musk doesn't sleep either.
Elon Musk.
And look where he's at, right?
Interesting man.
Right? So it's like any successful person has given 100% to be able to be there. So I hope that by my 40s, I'm in a position where I could take a step back a little bit, but at least I need to put in 13 years of hard work. I feel like the 3 years I already put plus 10 more, because I'm 30. I just turned 30. So I at least on my 40s, 13 years of hard work, I hope that if it doesn't work, like my mom said when she was going to turn 50, she was going to retire. She was just going to work to eat. And I think I'm going to do the same. But I think that I have something good. I think that I'll be able to build something great. And I think I have an understanding of attention and what people like to hear and what people like to watch. So
that's amazing.
With that said, hopefully in 5 years more, I could say that I'm good.
So what is your retirement age like?
Never.
You don't see yourself retiring?
I'll be inside the business at some capacity. Even if my son takes over, I'll give it to him and go build something else.
Okay.
So it's like, I know that I'm going to work till the day I die. I can't be home.
That is just all visionaries, by the way.
I can't be home. I feel like
I will go crazy. I go crazy at home too, so I understand that part.
Yeah. So it's like, whenever I take those days off, you can ask my wife. It's hilarious. Ask her. If you know her, ask her. I say, I'll be right back. I got to go pick something up in the office, and I stay here for 3 hours. I can't.
She's going to kill you. She's going to kill you.
Yeah, she calls me. She's like, didn't you go for like 15 minutes? Because I live like 10 minutes away. They didn't go for like 15 minutes. I'm like, oh, yeah. I just got a mail. I got to handle this real quick. I have to stay. I can't, honestly. And I don't know if that's wrong, but I feel like the opposite is worse. Whereas when you stay home all day, don't do anything, which I did at some point in my life when I used to live with my parents. And I feel like that's worse than wanting to work and build something for the future, right?
Yeah, I get it.
I'm not building it for myself, because I could just work, make some money, eat, we're good. But I want my son to have something, and then build something else. Want to leave a legacy
behind. I get that point. And I can't wait to be on that seat, because I'm going to give you a whole different perspective, by the way.
Yeah.
Which is going to be amazing. Yeah.
What's your perspective? Let's just do it right now. What's your perspective? Let's start.
My perspective is some type of balance. Most successful. Again, I do read a lot of books, and I read a lot of successful. How do you become an entrepreneurship? All of that stuff. I read a lot of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. All of that stuff.
I haven't read one of those, by the way. I just do the highlights. That's it.
You see? Different perspective. But anyways, success to me, in my opinion, in my perspective, is some type of balance. most successful people do take the time to do what they like, because we are so visionaries. We have to create so many ideas. When we are so into the business, we're not able to actually think and create. You're amazing at doing that because you are a videographer. Like you do that for like clients. Any idea pops up, you're able to help a client at the same time. You know, so it's kind of different on that end. But
for me, every December is crazy, and then it's the worst month of the year for me because I need to. Cool, this year this worked. This was amazing. This was awesome. But I need to reinvent myself for January, so every client can continue hiring me. Because if not, it happens to like some people that we know that people don't want to hire them because they stay in the same.
And the amazing part, well, marketing is just, it never ends because you have to
some kid
adapt to
some
whatever
high school dude comes up with a new formula, and now we all have to change.
Yes, exactly.
That's what happens all the time.
Which is the fun part, I guess, of marketing. I do enjoy marketing myself, so it's just understanding like you have to adapt to whatever society is adapting, or whatever things come out for new marketing or whatever the case is. Yeah. So that's the fun part. But I used to bust my ass just like you. I used to work 6 days. I used to work 9 to like, who knows, 7, 8 o'clock at night. However, I do have a 7-year-old, and what changed for me is when he told me like, Mom, it's 6 o'clock and you still on the computer. I'm like, shit. Like, you know, at the end of the day, it's like, he's getting older. What time am I, you know, spending with him? Mm-hmm. I also understand that, like, I understood that I had to have boundaries for the sake of myself. I'm only one person, so if I'm not good, nothing else runs. Okay. My household, you know, the part that I was working in the business as a leader is just like, how am I going to give all this information or be productive in whatever situation I'm gonna give if I'm not okay? So I had to learn with therapy and life coaches, and everything, that I had to set boundaries for myself, because if not, just people are gonna take advantage, and at the end of the day, I'm not gonna give my 100% to no one if I'm not okay. So my definition of success is just, you know, finding the balance, what works for you, because balance is a different definition, just like success. Whatever works for you. And, you know, and that's amazing that you have the opportunity to go all in at these within these years, because your baby is small, you know. At the end of the day, yes, you said. And
I have something else that you just said, and I actually wanted to touch on. Like, you know, in your case, you don't have someone that can help you with that, right? Yeah. So in my case, I do. Like, and funny enough, we're touching this subject. We had a conversation Sunday night, and she was like, listen, like, I'm supporting you. Even though you don't understand, it's difficult for me to be home when I could be doing something for myself as well. So what you're building is, I'm also giving you a hand. And I'm like, I know, because remember I asked you that I'm trying to build something great for us and for our son.
For the baby.
So I need you to take care of the house stuff so I can take care of the finance and the building for the future. So she was trying to say something else, right? Like, you take care of the relationship, you know, because not in the sense of, lo voy a decir claro, concho.
Dilo.
So when you're building and you're successful and you're in social media, there's certain people that give you attention. Mm-hmm. Y uno puede rebalar, ¿tú me entiendes? A la dominicana, right? You know? So she's saying, be careful with that, because I'm here helping you build. Don't hurt me. Don't do bad by me.
Exactly.
Because it's going to be worse. I don't want to feel like I'm in a position where I can't walk out.
Right.
Because of being dependent of you and our son. So it's like, that opened my mind, because I hadn't thought about it in that way. And it's like, you know, you have opportunities. I haven't done anything, but you have opportunities. Mm-hmm. And it's like, yeah, but then you're okay, cool. You're a successful person. You're going to become more successful. You're going to continue building. But in order for you to get here, you needed that support.
And looking at it from your wife's perspective, it's hard being a mom, even a stay-at-home mom. Like, that's already challenge alone, because she don't really get the mental break that you might get. Mm-hmm. You can come here and even if you're not working, you can just sit and just, you're in quiet peace. She has the baby at all times. She has to make sure that the household is intact as well. So, you know, it's the amazing part of relationships that you're able to help her and she's able to help you. You know, you guys are there to uplift each other, which is amazing. Yeah. So
I understand what you mean from your point, because it's like I
have myself.
You have yourself and your son is like looking at you there and you're not there. And if there was someone else there, for example, sometimes I do tell her, here you go, take the key. Like, you know, we have 2 cars, but take the keys, go out. I'll stay home with the kid. Go do whatever you want to do. Mm-hmm. I'll get home like at 5. I do sometimes go home at 5, even though I'm in the computer, but I have the baby next to me and then she can take a break. But in your case, it's hard for you to do that because
where do I go?
Where do you go? So it makes sense. And like, you know, it brings different perspective into your mind when you see those situations and you're like, okay, I can't just be an asshole and, you know, treat her bad.
Right.
So it might not, I always thought, so I'm that person that says, if I'm going to do something, I'm just going to leave you. Because if I want to do something at this point, it's because I don't care. Mm-hmm. But that brought a new respect to my relationship. So I never talk about my wife in any platform. So
I bring that out of him.
Interesting. She brought it out. So thinking about my wife now, it like, I want to bring her more along to certain things. Not everything, but certain things, because I like keeping that separation. Because when I go home, there's no conversation about this. I don't know how you guys do it. When you have your wife be your manager / finance and all this, I can't do that. I let her. I tried it one time and it didn't work for me, because when I got home, she had a whole list of questions and I was like, listen, the last thing I want when I get home is to think about more work, because I'm trying to leave work at work. So sometimes I leave at 10 or 11 o'clock. Mm-hmm. But the reason I leave at that time is because that way I leave my backpack in the door when I get home, and I don't touch the computer.
Okay.
Because what was happening is I was going home at 9, but I was sitting down on the table and working until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So what was I really going home? How was it?
No. I guess it's cool. The last person that interviewed you, was it a woman or
it was a man. He was, but that point, that conversation was episode 10. It was more about my life and how I got here. So that's why I went really short in the beginning, because they can listen to episode 10. But your perspective is more like in the present. So I like that.
Yeah. And especially like, I guess it's like understanding like, you know, balance, or not even balance, understanding that entrepreneurship is challenging. It's challenging. Mm-hmm. And everyone has a different road, like, you know, a different path, I would say. You know, what you want to do is completely different than another entrepreneurship.
Or you, for example,
or even myself. Yeah. Exactly.
Because you understood like, what you wanted, what were your boundaries, right? I don't have boundaries.
Well, I had to create my boundaries because I didn't have none. I would just say yes, and I will warn myself out. It would be friends, family, everyone. And I'm like, wait a minute.
Boundaries, no?
I did not, my calendar, I did not use it before. And I was like, I need to check my calendar, because if not, I am going to be doomed. And
I got calendar so people can schedule. So if you want to schedule an appointment, go to my Instagram, click calendar. It's easier. It's easier because
it is. It makes life easier, because I didn't understand that, because before it was just like, you know, I don't want to schedule somebody that I love on my calendar. Like, you know what I mean?
By the way, my mom, when I told that to my mom, now that you say that. Actually, I wasn't. My wife told my mom,
tengo que chequear el calendario.
Tengo que chequear el calendario porque si está ocupado, he can't do nothing. And my mom was like, no. Mijo, are you serious? I'm like, mommy, sometimes it gets crazy. I've been finding way to order, figure out my life. And that was one. I was like, she was telling me, we got to go to the baby appointment. We got to do this. We got to do that. I'm like, no, just put it on the calendar. And automatically, you can't book me during that time. And I know that I got to do that on Friday at that time. But when it was the other way around, it was like, wait, that's today? Shit, but I got to go do this.
Right.
Because I already said yes to this. And I cannot say no to this.
Time, honestly. That was me.
It's like, this we can postpone, but this we can't postpone. Like, how can I postpone a customer filming a video? This I can't postpone. So that saved completely arguments. I also put all my bills there. So now I know when my bills are due. And that's the way I've been able to find order. But I need to find the other balance I need to figure out is how to be more efficient. And I think it's just building team.
Yeah, that's true. And then I do have another question, just because you mentioned parents. How do your parents, like, to them this is different. Like, I mean, I'm coming from a Hispanic culture myself, and my parents don't really understand, like, all they really know is I work a lot, because they always had that 9 to 5 job, or in their definition of success was you got to go to school, you got to, get an education, graduate from college and get a good job. That's about it. But how do you deal with your parents not understanding your work life and entrepreneurship? Because it's challenging. I mean, what can
So
can you
in
say
my
about
case,
that?
I'm lucky. My parents are both business
Okay.
owners. So
There
their
you go.
entire life, my dad had in DR, he had a shirt business, pant business, like casual clothes, and he had that. And then my mom was selling stuff to women. She's always done that.
They always been hustling.
They've been hustling. They always have businesses. But with that said, their business is generally materia prima. So it's like this, I buy this item, or I build this and I sell this. Not like this. I create content, right? I have to buy cameras. My mom says every time she comes in here and looks. So that's new. That's new. That's new. That's new. She goes to the other office. That's new. That's new. You didn't have that computer. Now you have 3 computers. I'm like, Mom, you have to understand, like, I'm trying to build a business. She says, sí, pero tú puedes hacerlo con esto. You don't have to be putting so much money. I'm like, Mom, at some point, I'm going to start putting money. And I doubt that's going to happen. But I know that I'm not going to need to buy anything else. But the reason I purchase so much stuff is because now I have it I'm ready for anything. If you say I want to produce this type of content, I have the equipment. I don't have to go rent it. I don't have to call anybody else. I don't have to do anything. I'm ready. I have all my equipment in my bag. I put it in the car. Let's go. Film wherever. I can set up anything wherever. And the reason I did that is because I'm trying to grow to that next level of services that I can provide. The more services you have, the more you're wanted by one person. Because if you take care of everything, they just call you, right? So for them, it's mind blowing because they know how much money I make. My mom's smart with that, numbers and stuff, and she's like, she doesn't understand how I never have money, and it's because all my money is in the business. Right. So I get paid, I reinvest. I get paid, I reinvest. It's hard because sometimes you have that account on zero, but the same reason why I have all the equipment and I have everything invested, it's the same reason why I can make more money every time. So hopefully for next year, I'm able to triple X what I made in the past 2 years. If you already know, you know. But if you don't know, I'm not going to say it right now because I don't want to jinx it. Yeah.
That's amazing.
I've been able to hit 3 figures with this business.
And look at that within the 2 to 3 year time period. Like, that's amazing.
It's all in the business, but I've been able to.
It's still an investment, a great investment.
And then think about this, right? And this is something because I was questioning myself why. Again, we're talking family stuff too in this podcast and the 20th episode. I got married. I had to buy everything. I lived in a New York apartment that paid $2,000 in rent. Okay? So
tell me about it.
And then I had to buy everything for the apartment. Bed, sofa, TV, everything. Right? And then after that, I started the business. I had to buy everything for the business. Table, this, that, the chairs, the light. So it's always been investing. Then to put a beautiful cap on the whole situation, right? My son was born. So now I had to buy everything for my son.
Yes. And so that's expensive.
It gets expensive. I just bought the crib. That was $230. I just bought the bed. That was $150. So it's like, it gets, what I've noticed is for the past 3 to 4 years of my life has all been, all my money has been put into something. Mm-hmm. So that's why I say within 5 to 7 years, I can see myself in a different spot because I don't think I need to do the same amount of investments on everything. Right. Because I already have the car, I already have the house, well, the apartment. I already have the furniture. I already have the hard drives. I have, so everything's gonna be minimal. It's not gonna be 2,000, 3,000.
So you're honestly just planting seeds everywhere in your life that you're just gonna see the fruits of a labor later on.
Where are you planting seeds?
Everywhere. Honestly, in my career, in my son's life, and I want to honestly leave him a legacy myself. I'm not just here just to be in business. I want it, I have goals. My long-term goals is just residual income, and I do want to have 150 properties, rental properties within 5 years. I currently don't have none, but with my knowledge and value, I know I'm gonna be there in no minute,
it's just a matter of time.
Right. So, yeah. And let me see what else. I was such on a roll.
No, yeah. So I know what you're saying, because it's like when you're like me, right? You're focused. So you're focusing 2 things right now: your house, meaning your son, and your business.
My career.
Your career. You're working with people who are in the right path, not wasting time, not, doing the things that are supposed to. Even when they meet for a drink, it's actually for business. And I don't even know. I think we've seen each other in a couple of events.
Yeah,
right?
we have.
Who's the first one to leave?
The first one to leave?
I'm the king of that. Everybody is no hard feelings.
I thought you beat me because I just
I think I did beat you. I think I beat you. Okay, everybody says it. When do you leave?
JT says that about me. I was like, wait, you didn't even say, but I'm like, I couldn't find you. I'm out.
So the reason I do that, right, is because of 2 things. One, everybody goes to the events where you're drinking. I used to drink a lot, not in a bad way, but I used to drink a lot. I used to party out. So I kind of like already got tired of that. So I go to an event, I drink club soda, me como the 2 or 3 pastries, and I'm out. And the reason for that is because if I drink too much, the next day I can't work. And when I wake up in the morning to start my routine, I need to wake up at 12. So when I start my routine, it's already 3, 4 o'clock. I already lost my day. So if I drink, it will impair me from doing what I got to do.
Yeah.
So that's the first one.
I agree with that.
Second one, I do this to network. Now I'm in your page. There's a couple people that know you. Those people come and see my page. They see who I am. They see the content. You're getting value because you're getting content for your page. People are seeing you. You're getting exposure. We're both benefiting from this. Versus in there, all we're doing is having a conversation one-on-one that is not going to transition to more than just the people who are there.
Right.
So that's why this started.
I piggyback on that as well. I do go to a lot of events as well, and I don't drink for that reason also, because I do wake up at 5 a.m. every single day to go to the gym by 5:30. So it's like, that's why I put my boundaries, and I'm like, by 10 o'clock, or JT, if it's not early, I am not going. But by 10 o'clock, I'm like, I'm out of there, because it's like, I'm not gonna mess up my routine for no one, because at the end of the day, it's my life. If I F up, nobody else is gonna care.
Yeah, and then that's okay. So let me ask you this question now. Good, we're going to a good spot. So the reason why I don't turn down the nub from 10 to 5 to 3 or 4, it's because I feel like I would not have the same income, and my lifestyle went up to that level already. I am cutting some things down because the economy is changing right now, and I am taking it a little easier in the spending habits, which I have a lot. I can't be Sunday at home, people. If I'm Sunday at home, I'm buying from every website. Gap, Ralph Lauren, every website. I'm like, oh, here's something for the baby. Here's something for the house. Here's something for the dog. No. So how are you able to maintain your finances in order while turning down the knob from 100 to 5, 10?
My boundaries. That same information that you can give me at 10 p.m. or at 11 p.m., you can give it to me at 7 or 8 in the morning. It is the question that you honestly ask yourself: is this urgent? Can I do that task tomorrow?
But I don't believe in that. I don't believe in the 501 email. I believe in the 501 email.
You have to read 5 a.m. Club, by the way. That is like that book that's going to give you that boundary and understanding that you're in business, but at the end of the day, people, they're going to tell you they have the urgency for everything because
they want to get it done.
It's benefit for them. But at the end of the day, it's like, what's beneficial for me.
Okay, but let me ask you this question, right?
Okay.
So me as a videographer, you send me an email on 5:02.
5:02. Okay.
Yeah, I clock out at 5:02. Hey, are you available on Wednesday or Thursday? Let's say because today's Tuesday, Thursday, to film a video, and I wait till tomorrow at 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning to answer.
That's already late though. I wake up at 5.
Espérate. I wait till that time to answer. But they also texted at 6:01 because they were waiting for me for an hour, answer and said, hey, yes, I'm available. But I didn't answer. What happens now?
It all comes down to like what you said. They might get somebody that is probably cheaper because they wasn't patient. Or at the end of the day, it's the questions that you ask yourself. Is answering that email is going to take you 2 minutes or it's going to take you an hour?
Okay.
If it takes you 2 minutes, you can do that. I'm not saying not to answer.
Because the thing is, remember, there's a movement right now going on.
What's the movement?
Oh. That shut computers off at 5 and answer to nobody.
No. I'm not saying to do that. I'm definitely not saying to do that.
Okay.
But what I'm saying,
people then.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the task that you're able to do, is it going to take less than 5 minutes?
That makes sense.
Or it's something that can
like editing a video that takes you 2 hours.
Right.
Okay,
or if you're going to go ahead and edit, it's going to take you 2 hours, but you have dinner at 7 with your wife. What, like, at the end of the day is like that can wait until tomorrow because the deadline probably for that video is next week or something like that, we
need to start creating deadlines for me too.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna,
Ya yo veo que a mí me están escribiendo ya un párrafo. Yeah, Cesar, this is what I analyze of your business and we need to fix this, and this. And
then I'll bill you.
Exactly, después.
A big invoice at that. But no, I'm not saying not to answer anything or answer some emails. Honestly, the questions that you ask yourself, like, is that gonna take me 5 minutes, or is that gonna take me an hour? If it's gonna take you 5 minutes, go right ahead. You're not losing a client. You don't want to lose. I'm not telling you to lose a client. That's money at the end of the day.
Yeah, okay, because that's the thing. I get it when people say that. I get it mixed up because I saw that and I'm like, these people don't understand business. Like, do you know? Imagine that Microsoft, right? Let's say just to put a big name. Imagine that Microsoft has an employee that has the answer because they went to do something for the manager, and that answer is going to require for them to switch a whole system that will make them, let's say, more money and more efficient and better for the planet. All the positive ones, right? But that person says it's 5:01. I'm not answering.
I highly doubt they say no to that. I highly doubt.
But that's what I mean, because there's people with my mentality, but I also see these people with that mentality. I'm like, how can you do that? You're basically jeopardizing business. Yeah.
No. I mean, when there's money involved, I'm not telling you not to. It's go right ahead. Like, even now.
So employees, listen. I'm going to give you fair information here. If it's 5:01 and it's a very important business and it could take you 2 minutes to answer. Now, if you have to sit down and work for 2 hours, that's different.
Right. Which I agree. Honestly, is really answering yourself. Is this worth me answering at this moment? Is that going to change anything? Is that going to change my business? Is that going to change the money that comes in my business? Then go right ahead and answer it. At the end of the day, money needs to be made.
Exactly. So that's what I was wondering, like, how you found that balance. And now it makes sense. It's because you're like, it's just that you wake up earlier, you handle things early, you finish at 6 o'clock, you give the attention, and you watch a little movie real quick, go to sleep early.
I don't watch TV, but it's okay.
Well, this is the only mistake I make.
I barely watch TV. I watch TV with my son.
In order for my mind to be more creative, I have to watch other people's content. That's one. Two, in order for me to be more understanding of certain things, I have to disconnect. And I disconnect by watching other people's content. Because if I don't, and I sit down to watch Instagram, all I'm doing is going, let me see what JT's doing. Let me see what this guy's doing. So now I'm checking everybody's content. I'm like, this sucks. He's not doing this right.
Yeah.
For example, there's a couple of videos that JT did. No offense to you. You're my bro.
Ooh, JT.
Not JT, the other guy. You're my bro. But the videos, I told you, get them on right. Okay. That bothers me. Like if I see content that was done wrong, that bothers me because now whoever's watching that is watching you at this corner of the video. Doesn't make any sense, dude. You gotta be right here. See, centered.
The perfectionist over here, which is amazing.
Oh my god.
Which is amazing. But no,
I sent back. Yes, so you can see. I sent back like 20 videos to my editor. Send it back. I was like, listen, all those videos are out of frame. Say, what do you mean? I'm like, look, if you put a line down the video, he didn't have a line, and I put the line and showed him. The nose, it was right here. So the line, imagine that the line was right here. So you don't see it because you don't see
the eye contact.
But the eye contact knows that you're out of place.
The attention span also is like 5 seconds.
So now you get it. And that's the freakiest things that goes through my mind. So whenever I watch content and whenever I watch something that even on other people's platform bothers me. So when I watch Mr. Beast, Casey Neistat, Mr. Beast is one of the biggest ones, right? When I watch the car guy, I forgot his name. I have it right here. Because I was going to watch a video from him and I texted to myself. Stratman. When I watch Stratman, his content, right? His content's on point. He's always smiling. The camera angle is always on top. Whatever he's talking about, you're seeing. The subject is there. So people don't understand that all that is being viewed by the broad masses. The viewer, whoever's watching, you're sitting at home watching somebody's content. I need to make sure that your video, even though it's a real estate or a podcast, this means something.
Right.
This means something to you as a viewer. This means something as a viewer. So if none of that is part of the video, then you're like, what am I watching?
Right.
It's out of place. Whoop. So that's why when you see a phone video that the lighting is off, that the person is out of angle, that they're in the wrong place because they're in front of a dirty background, that video doesn't do good is because even the algorithm itself, when it scans the image, is like, this is not good. So
how do you, I'm pretty sure this is something that you had to learn by experience, right? Because maybe some people don't have that knowledge. You know what I mean? Did you invest money into like learning all of this or just by experience?
Experience. So by looking at other people's content, right? Because this is what I say at the end of the year, this is what I do. I look at whatever, okay, well, how are we going to reinvent this? How are we going to make this better, right? I already have how this room is going to look for episode 30. So episode 30 or 40, I'm still haven't decided. But at some point, this is all going to switch. This is going to be in a different style, maybe in a different area. But this has to switch. Right. Because it has to evolve. Everything in life has to evolve, right? Hey. So in content, it has to evolve. We could start with just this straight video, but then at some point we need to go a video without the mic, where you only see me. We have to go with a lavalier mic. We have to. So that's what I mean when I say I have all the equipment and everything to create all types of content. Because this one is nice, but you also need to make videos outside. You also need to make videos in a property. You also need to make videos in your car. So how are you going to get the good sound? How are you going to get the good quality? How are you going to get that on point? It's because all the equipment is there. And whenever you're telling me what you're trying to achieve, right? That's where we go into that. So let's say if you want to achieve movement content, right? Movement meaning you're doing something. You're either walking on the sidewalk, you're either walking inside the office, or you're driving. Right. So how are we going to make this video in the sidewalk? Okay, we're going to make it coming from this direction because you can see in the back what we're trying to signal. So if you're trying to signal a car, if you're trying to signal a sign, if you're trying to signal an intersection, okay, we're filming this way.
Honestly.
So all that goes through my mind when I'm just making a decision about something. It happens fast, but it's because of practice. Like you said, I started doing video. I have over 300 videos on YouTube. Started doing videos in 2018 and started the business in 2020. I also made a lot of mistakes and things that didn't do good. But then I was also doing things that were doing good. So I am that type of person that will do a full edit, complete edit, complete. and delete the whole thing and start over.
He's a perfectionist, guys. I'm telling you.
I send you the video and say this is 95% right, and you're like, why is it 95? It still needs this, and you're like,
it's never 100%.
It's good. But it's not 100% for me.
Yeah.
And I have had to learn how to downgrade my perfection, because if not, I will never finish a project. But it's hard because I feel like, and this is the reason that I do it, because I feel that when you see the video, there's a reason why you're here today.
Yeah.
You're not here today because of blah, blah, blah. No, you're here today because you've seen all the other people's content. You've seen the value that we can provide in a conversation. You've seen the information that gets exchanged. You've seen the quality of it and how everything is on point. Audio, video. There's a podcast that I told you yesterday that's not going to come out because of the audio.
Oh, yeah, right.
Beautiful podcast. It's gold.
Beautiful setting.
But it's not going because of the quality.
And you're not, I get that.
I'm not going to downgrade my quality over anything.
That's amazing. So mainly you're saying is like you kind of invest in your equipment, and you invest in your, in your self-growth and your experience, because, at the end of the day, that's what's going to make you better. And
that's the reason why my phone keeps ringing. That's the reason why when you see the video of an event or something on somebody else's pages, you're like, who did that? Yeah, right. There's thousands of kids. There's kids with better equipment than I am, but they don't have that customer service, which is really important. You know a story that JT probably told you about another kid, right? So I don't know nothing. Yeah, I don't know nothing either, but you know what I mean. Like, you know what I mean? Like JT does. I remember that. That customer service, like that's important. Sometimes I don't communicate as often as I should, but when I do things, it satisfies everything else. And the reason I don't communicate is because I'm in the zone. Sometimes I don't answer clip. I don't answer my text messages not because I don't want to answer to you. I do see them. Case. It's because I'm trying to get your content out at 100%. And sometimes I don't want to give you a specific time, because if I did it and it didn't work, I'm doing that again. And sometimes I'm that guy who goes into the clips and says, okay, this doesn't make sense. I'll go to the spot, film something to just put it into the video for it to look good. So that's what we try doing all the time. Look at that. Look who's here. Ven, ya, entra, ven, saluda. He wanted to be part of this episode too. Oh, look at that. Such a good friend. Come on, sit here. Sit here, Taco Bell. You should go. I do not want hungry. Taco Bell. Siéntate aquí, ven y saluda, ven, rápido. Sale en la cámara y saluda para que digan, por lo menos que te vieron. Look who it is. Hola a todos. ¿Cómo están? Hola, chicas. So Ceci, that's like, he knows. I told him the podcast is not coming out. Right. By the way, the podcast is with him, so that podcast is not coming out. And that's an amazing view, by the way. So it sucks that it's not coming out. Oh, yeah. No, we're just going to do it again in the same spot. Probably we'll do it with different mics and not have them. Because now you have the options to do that. So what I'm also thinking is like, maybe not have both of them with this type of mic, have them with lavaliers like me and him were, and me and him have the mic. Okay. If they're going to stay in the same position. Or maybe add another chair. So that's what I'm thinking about on top of everything else that I think about for that content. Because that's one of the things that I'm telling you that I want to do for me, for the branding. So like I said, so if we had a box here, let's say, imagine a box, Total Social LLC. We have the department for marketing. We have the department for video production. We have the department for podcasts. We have the department for events. Each one has their own individual teams. And then on the middle is me, content creation for Total Social. And then that has a department that makes sure that all this is working hand on hand. That's all process mapped. Y lo más lindo, para que tú veas, que aquí va la parte difícil. I know, for example, the event that we went to recently. Right. I know everything that was filmed at that event. It's here. So if he needs to make a video about something, I already know where the footage is. So I know from the first event, the Money Play event, and I went with JT, I think you were there at that time. That event, I know what was filmed at that event. That was about a year ago. I know every piece of content that was filmed with my customers in New York. So whenever there's a footage that I'm filming you right now, and I know that I have already a footage that I can support that with, I tell them we don't need to film that because I already have it. So I have that on my mind.
Look at that.
On top of everything else that I filmed.
He is a true visionary, by the way.
I try. I'm going crazy, but I try. Dime. He's I should put him off camera.
He's like, no, I'm good.
Are we kicking out the spicy podcast? You seen it?
No.
Okay, thank God.
So since I guess we have two different perspectives here. My perspective, which I wake up early, make sure that I go to sleep early, and you kind of have a whole different perspective.
Yeah, I go to sleep at 2, wake up around 8.
So what's your like day-to-day routine on your successful, week, I would say?
So for me, generally my customers schedule me in the afternoons, which I love. But in the morning, I generally wake up. If I have to go to New York, I leave at 7:30 in the morning. So it depends. It fluctuates if I have to go to New York that day. Gotcha. Because I'm trying to avoid the most traffic possible.
Right.
So either I leave at 7:30 or I have to leave around 10:30 to be able to make it on time for a 1 o'clock appointment. So it depends on that. And then the other part is if I have to work, if I have the office schedule, I put my office day, I come here at 9:30.
Okay.
And then from 9:30 to 12, I'm just basically organizing everything to figure out how I'm going to get started.
So you're not answering no phone calls from that time. Okay.
And then when I'm editing, I don't answer calls.
Okay.
So, because if I'm in a zone and I'm clicking, right? Because that's what I do. I click, and I pick up the phone. I'm like, hey, what's up?
You lose the momentum.
I lost the momentum and I lost the idea. So now I have to sit down for 15, 30 minutes, and it's 15, 30 minutes, and try to get my mind back into the rhythm of editing. So that's why a lot of people, they get their edits at 1, 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock in the morning. It's because at 8 o'clock, nobody calls me.
Okay.
So from 8 till 2 in the morning, I'm in the zone. During the day, I try not to be on the phone, but people call. Everybody wants to do something. And that's the funny thing, right? That's another one. You have an idea. Like, you call me. We had an idea. We had a discussion. But then he calls me. Then we have an idea. We have a discussion. Then JT calls me. Right? Let me just talk about your whole team. Then G calls me, and we have a discussion.
Wow, putting all of us in the spot.
Nathan calls me. Let's say he has an idea. We have a discussion. You know who calls me? Has 20 times a day. Has a discussion of the whole thing. So everybody's. Sometimes it's just.
How do you control that though? Like, how do you like
the only way? The only way is going to sleep.
He's like,
I get home. I turn on the TV, and 5 minutes later, I'm out.
Yeah.
Because I'm exhausted because it's so much ideas, it's so much content, it's so much planning. It's a lot.
It's tough.
And then everybody wants 100% of me, not 50.
That's what I'm
25.
saying. Like, what? So what do you do for yourself? Like, what for fun? That's besides.
When are you gonna go karting? I love go-karting.
It's fun.
I love go-karting.
Okay.
And I'm the best, by the way. Nobody beats me. The only problem I have is that I'm fat. So you're skinnier. You might win me on that, but I'll beat you in the curves. So I love Formula One, right? So I watch a lot of Formula One. I like go-karting. I like I don't watch any other sports that is not Formula One. And then I watch Netflix or YouTube. A lot of Alofoque. A lot of Alofoque. That's Alofoque for me is the dude that gets my mind to something stupid and I don't think. Because everybody asks me all the time, why you watch Alofoque? I'm like, because I could be stupid. I don't have to. That
could be you. Like, you don't have to like.
No, porque everything I watch, I analyze. How do I take this conversation? How do I get this content? Yeah. How do I do this? So I'm analyzing information. With Alofoque, I'm not analyzing anything.
You're just watching.
They're just being crazy, and I'm just watching them being crazy.
That makes a lot of sense, honestly.
So that's how I do it all the time.
That's your, your goal.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So, and Alofoque now also became my goal, like you said, because Alofoque he has a big production.
It is big.
And now that's my version of team. Like, we have camera people, we have editors. As soon as it's done, They go at it. They go do their job.
Yeah, that's
and
it.
I go do my other jobs.
So you just gotta start delegating once you have process in place.
Exactly. Once Ceci does the process and smacks the bill right there.
I'm gonna give you an invoice.
Oíste cómo es. So Ceci me va a hacer los procesos que yo tengo que hacer, but
Because they're all
from
in his
step
head.
A to step C, right? But then as soon as she gives me, I'm like, oh, cool, this looks really nice. He's gonna be like, bam, invoice.
A big fat invoice, but here you go.
A big fat invoice that I'm gonna answer with content. I'm gonna be like, hey, here's your 20 pieces of content. But yeah.
That's good. So one last question for you.
Dímelo.
How do you, I guess, analyze? How do you know your value? How do you know how to price things? Is it your time? How, is it the equipment? How do you
Great question.
price
So
everything? Your value.
when I started, so I calculate time, right?
Okay.
So for example, if I know that I'm going to spend on this project 4 hours, I'm billing you for that. But if we're in a retainer basis, you're 50% off the price completely, automatically. So if we want to work one time, you're paying double the price. Versus if you work with me consistently, you're 50% off the regular price. So that's for you, my regular customers. You already know. Pero it's per hour. So my goal is always to make anywhere between 100 to 150 an hour.
Okay.
Because you gotta within that you have to account the equipment, you have to account time for install, you have to account editing, the processing, the hard drives, the sending back, the receiving. I know a lot of people do it very different. A lot of people just do it based on like, oh, this is a flat fee for this. There's a flat fee for this. There's a flat. I say, okay, so I'm gonna spend 4 or 5 hours in that project. If I'm charging you 100, it's 400. When that's like the customers know when I charge them like that and I charge them different. I'm the cheapest videographer, and I know that for a fact. I know everybody else overcharges and under delivers. I charge less and over deliver. My business since day one has been over delivering on what you pay me.
Right.
And that has also caused problems because people don't understand that because I'm undercharging, it takes me more time because I have to do more work with other people. Pero when you get it, you get A-list content.
I do agree on that.
So it does take a little longer, JT, but it's good. But yeah, no. And I know that's something I have to work and do better. And I'm trying to figure out how it's going to work. But at the same time, if you go to, I know another guy who charges, for example, triple the price I charge a customer for what I do. And still takes forever to deliver the content for them. And I deliver the same quality, better, engaging content, does rank better, and charge less.
That's amazing.
But, quién sabe, for 2023, we double the price.
Hey.
Inflation went up. Inflation went up.
And the amazing part is, honestly, is that you're confident in your work. So a lot of people.
We might just take the hit because that's another thing, right? When you bring up your prices, people step back. But I might just take the hit because it's like I'm noticing that people are not valuing me the way that they should be valuing what I'm giving them and what I'm trying to provide for their businesses. Because at the end of the day, it's a B2B transaction. And you're gaining from this. It's not like you're paying me to just document something. When you document it, someone reaches out. You said it yourself. You tell me yourself. You're like, wow, because of this video, I got 10 more accounts. And it's like, yeah, but you're only paying. So if you calculate, let's say you pay me $300 for a video and you just got 10 accounts. Divide that 300 by 10, it costs you $30 an account.
Yeah.
Where do you get $30 an account? There's no marketing that would charge you $30 for being in a newspaper, for being in a radio. It's thousands of dollars. So if you're saying that the value is there, please show value to the other side as well. And this is not me trying to bash, but this is the marketing of today. We talk about marketing, and if my marketing is working for you, it's because there's a lot of man hours of knowledge and trying to figure out what engages with the client, what builds reputation, and what helps your business grow.
He said it all.
Dime, Ceci, entonces. How does it feel to interview someone for the first time? You said you were going to be nervous. I don't see you nervous.
I mean, I thought I was going to be nervous, but it's been cool. This is the magic chair. I think that's what it is.
Interesting. So let me ask you a question. Why do you work out so much?
For the peace of mind, honestly. It's no longer something it's not even about body anymore. It's about mental.
Sí, pero tú sabes, when you post on Instagram, I know that you get in those DMs like, hey, mommy.
I mean, I'm still single, though.
Just saying. Just so you know, that's the wrong approach, papi. Okay?
But, yeah, like, it's not about just me. I don't even post just for me to post. Like, I'm posting for the consistency of why I've been doing it. I've been doing it consistently now for a year and a half. Oh, wow. And it's no longer about my body. Yes, when I first started, it was more about like, the physical. But now it's just like, if I don't go, my day is a shut show. Like my energy is off, like everything is off. And it gives me that energy and mental peace and mental clarity, honestly. Yeah. And that extra push, and it just, when you have discipline in your life, it makes everything else easier. Okay. It gives me more the discipline. That's mainly why I do it.
Okay. And then, let me see. So you started in the real estate world. That was in 19 or 17?
2018.
18.
June of 2018.
And you were doing wholesaling.
Right.
Where do you stop that?
Where I stopped wholesaling?
Why you stopped?
Why? Honestly, because the reason I started wholesaling is because I always wanted to flip. I always wanted to flip houses. Mm-hmm. Interior designing is something that I'm very passionate about. And, everyone, I went to a seminar, 3-day seminar, a 3-day seminar, and they were like, you need a wholesale, fast cash, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And I'm like, shit, if I can do that, I can start flipping. You can
finance and finance everything else.
Yeah. So, 4 years passed later, and I'm like, I'm no longer happy at what I'm doing. Wholesaling is great. Yes, it's amazing because I know the in and outs of running numbers or analyzing a deal. Anything on that end, I kind of know already. But me, like, just selling deals and not pursuing what I want to do, it wasn't no longer happiness for me. Okay, it wasn't about friendship. It wasn't about leadership. It's not about none of that.
So now that I hear that you like interior designing, would you like to be part of our event planning production center here in Total Social?
This is why it's amazing. Look.
I'm just kidding. Bro.
He will kill you. He will kick you.
Very hard. He's tall. For the event side, because if you like the designing section,
I do.
That could be part of it. And also, I might put you to design this. What do you think about this being plastered? Plaster, black, gray, cement style.
Okay, I can see that.
And then the logo right on the middle for the marketing of today.
Right here in the middle.
Yeah.
I can see that.
But the other thing is, like, I'm trying to figure out how can I get
this framing got to go.
Oh yeah, this is going out, and this is gonna be flat.
Awesome. All
right. So all the windows are going to be out if I do anything. Yeah, by the way, we're thinking about marketing today 2.0.
Look at that.
2.0. Tener un setup aquí fijo, where the cameras are in a specific angle, everything is ready, and all you have to come here and hit record to all the systems, and let's go.
You ready to go?
Yeah. And that's my problem. I haven't finished step 1. Where I'm already in step 10.
That's honestly.
But see, what's your goals in the next 5 years?
I want to do my own flips, and again, 150 rentals within the 5-year period. 150
doors. What people call doors. I don't like the doors section.
Cap rate, all that.
Wow. I mean, it's here. I believe that everything's here. So there's a reason why I keep saying that I'm going to do this. Right. It's because it's right here. As long as you believe it and you can do it, you're going to get there.
And honestly, I've like the power of manifestation is like, people really don't understand how powerful it is. I've journaled. I have literally all my journals. I journal a lot. And if I read, at least I read them once a year, like my previous journals, and I learned from them, like, shit, like I went this far, like, everything I wrote on my journal, most of it I've accomplished.
Wow.
And if I didn't, why didn't I? Like, what happened? And that's kind of like where I used to, like, you know, with the wholesaling, I kind of got lost. Like, you know, I was no longer happy, like, with my, you know, which is wholesaling. It wasn't like the people. It wasn't like, it was just me. I wasn't feeling fulfilled with what I was doing. Yes, I was doing it in and out. Yes, I was good at it. And yes, I know, you know, how to sell deals. But at the end of the day, it's like, okay, this is no longer fulfilling me. And the amazing part of being an entrepreneur is just like, you can pick up and go.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you already build that. It's like a mental toughness. It's like, you already don't have a 9 to 5. You don't get paid every Friday or whatever the case is. So understanding that, it's like you can move anywhere.
The worst part is when you get a check and it's all out by the next day. That's the worst part.
Tell me about it.
That's the worst part. Tell me about it. I have 5 employees. And every Friday they're like, yo, money. And I'm like, you know, give me 2 days. I'm gonna wait for this check to clear. Jesus. But you know, it's at the same time, it's good because like 2 years ago, I used to just drive. I used to be like, okay, this weekend I got nothing to do. Book the hotel somewhere and I just work.
And go.
So I'm probably for January and February, I'm going to be doing that a lot.
You have to. Like,
every weekend I'm going to try to leave.
I'm always going to give you a different perspective. I feel like I see things differently and that's okay. And it's just like, I feel like I need some time for myself, even for my son. He goes with his father on weekends. Sundays and Saturdays, I choose to do whatever I feel like doing. Like, whatever, you know. If it's working, I'm working because I want to, or if I love nature. So I'm out meditating somewhere in nature. So that's just me.
But thank you so much for listening. Ceci, close it out for us.
Thank you so much for letting me interview the master man over here.
Oh, wow.
And being in the hot chair today. It felt good.
Yeah.
So thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for everybody watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you like this type of content, if you want more people to interview me, because that's kind of interesting when we get different perspective and not just me asking or bombarding their conversations like I do. Leave me a comment below what you think and if you like the content. Peace.
Bye. Take care.